My friend Dom turned 21. He organized a group trip to Vegas among our closest friends. We stayed at the Gold Coast Hotel and Casino, which was a 5-minute walk from the strip. There were 6 of us, too many names to list, so I'll just name as I go. But we had 3 rooms, and 2 to each room. I was rooming with a Joey. Our flight landed around 5, so by the time we were unpacked and settled in the hotel, it was around 7. We stopped at an In-N-Out for dinner, since we're all from the East Coast, and the novelty of In-N-Out was pretty appealing. Right after that, we walked around until ending up at a Bellagio Hotels casino. It was absolutely massive. We all kind of split off in little groups. Joey and I were just doing slot machines, while 3 of the others were at the blackjack tables. I'm not sure where the 6 went, but when I say Joey and I were doing the slot machines, I mean we were really just sitting there occasionally spinning the slot machines every few minutes, really just collecting those free shots that the cocktail waitresses would walk around with to try to get patrons drunker and looser with their money. Let's just say we were not trying to blow $1,000 on the first night. After a few shots, we went over to our friends by the blackjack tables to watch them. I'd say after an hour at the casino, watching our friends gamble their money away, we all left with intentions of walking to this place called Lily Barn Lounge. But halfway to the bar, I did a quick pat down of all my pockets, making sure I had my phone and wallet. Then I had a mini heart attack when I felt an empty pocket where my wallet should have been. I started to freak out, asking my friends if they remember when I last had it. None of them remembered. I asked them to wait for me while I ran back into the casino to check. They didn't want to wait though. Joey just gave me his room card and told me to go check our hotel if it wasn't at the casino. Then the 5 of them continued walking to the bar while I ran back to the casino. I felt very defeated as I was predicting having lost my wallet on the first night, and I would be absolutely screwed if I wanted to get into any bars or clubs. I retraced all my steps into the casino, including checking the seats of the slot machines we were at. Then I checked lost and found, but there was nothing. So next I had to try our hotel rooms. This was my last shot of finding it, and I felt sick to my stomach about it now. I felt this could ruin my entire trip. I ran through the lobby and up the stairs to the 2nd floor where the room was. I got to the door and tried Joey's key card. The card reader flashed red a few times. I wondered if he had a faulty card. I rubbed the card with my shirt to remove any smudges or whatever that could be hindering the card reader. On the next try, it beeped and lit green, and I opened the door. I started searching the entire room, throwing clothes out from my suitcase and onto the bed, digging through my suitcase, then tearing through the bed sheets, even though they weren't even slept in yet. I checked under the beds, pillows, on the table and TV stand, but it was not in there. I collapsed on the bed, literally wanting to cry. Then I thought to maybe call the front desk and ask if it was turned into lost and found, so I did just that. The desk worker picked up on the 3rd or 4th ring, and I asked if they could check the lost and found for my wallet. She said hold on, then put me on hold for a minute. When she came back, she asked me what my name was, because apparently lots of people lose their wallets in Vegas. I told her name, then she said something that confused me. She said something along the lines of, "Sir, didn't I just speak to you now at the front desk when you asked me what room number you were in?" I asked when she was referring to, and she said within the past 5 minutes. That wasn't possible because I had been gone for nearly 2 hours. I told the lady I was coming down to the front desk, then hung up, but it made me wonder, just what if? I checked one of the closets in my room and it was empty. Then I looked to the bathroom. The bathroom door was shut. I grabbed the doorknob's side and yanked it open, expecting to see someone, but no one. It appeared empty. I turned on the bathroom light just to look at myself in the mirror, but I almost instantly noticed a shadow through the shower curtain. It was undoubtedly the shadow of a person who looked taller than me. I didn't want to get stabbed or shot that night. I left the hotel room and immediately called the number for the hotel and asked them to send security up right away. Not even 5 minutes later, 2 large men in security shirts came down the hall, and I pointed at the door yelling there's someone in our bathroom shower who stole my wallet. I opened the door for them, and right center of the hotel room was this 30-something-year-old man with a COVID mask over his mouth. He had his hands in the air. The security guards escorted him out of our room and patted him down for any weapons, and not so shockingly, they found my wallet in his pocket. He didn't have any weapons on him though. Security called the police and arrested the man, and I got my wallet back. The man admitted to finding my wallet outside the hotel, went to the front desk asking what room number I was in, and letting himself in. Even though no one was harmed, I felt like this could have turned out so much worse. For example, if I decided to open that shower curtain, my friends hardly believed my story until the security guards backed it up later that night. The rest of the trip went completely normal. A few years back, I stayed with 3 friends in a Bally's hotel in Vegas, once known as the MGM Grand, until November 21st in 1980, when it burned down. The fire began from a refrigerated pastry display case in one of the restaurants, located on the 1st floor, and apparently the fire engulfed the resort's casino, and the smoke traveled into the hotel tower, killing 85 people due to smoke inhalation. We read about this in some of the reviews of the place while booking, but I mean that was 40 years ago. How would it really affect our stay? The rates for the rooms were surprisingly more affordable than some comparable hotels for the specific weekend, so we booked it. Something I didn't pay attention to in the reviews though were the number of people who reported witnesses and hearing strange noises. There are even reports of ghostly activity in the casino. The most common complaint hotel guests make is the presence of a smell of smoke and burning, especially on the upper floors, even if there's no one smoking. But I wasn't aware of any of this on our first night there. On our second night there, we went to a couple of casinos, then got dinner and went back to the room to regroup before heading back out. Not without stopping at a liquor store for some booze beforehand, so we can all loosen up a little more before going out. After we pre-gamed for a good half an hour to an hour, we all called an Uber to Omnia nightclub, not too far away. By the time we got there, the liquor was definitely kicking in, and this was when the memory starts to get a bit fuzzy. I remember we were waiting online for at least half an hour, and I remember my one friend, Alec, talking to this group of girls in front of us. Next thing that I really remember was standing at the bar inside the club with my friends trying to order drinks, and I vaguely remember bits and pieces of being on the dance floor, but when I say I blacked out besides that, I'm not exaggerating. The night became a little clearer when I left the club, but according to my friends, I left alone. I somehow made my way back to the hotel and back to the room on the 17th floor. From here on out, I remember just about everything. I was sitting on the edge of the bed with my head in my hands for quite a while, feeling like my head was spinning, when I heard what sounded to be a kid coughing on the other side of the door. I pulled myself together and went to check through the peephole, making sure no one was choking or anything, I guess. There was no one visible, so I opened the door. The corridor was empty. At this point, standing up made me feel even sicker, so I went to the bathroom to throw up. After that, I felt better and laid down in the bed to go to sleep. It was 3 something in the morning. None of my friends were back yet. I heard the coughing once again. It sounded like a young boy's coughing. I didn't feel like getting up to check again though. I resumed trying to fall into a deep sleep, when out of nowhere, this ear-piercing ring went off, along with a flashing red light in the room. It was a smoke alarm, and in the corner of the room, every time the flashing light blinked, I could see a person standing in the corner of the room. It looked like a young boy facing the bed. I looked closer to see if I was seeing things, and on the 4th blink, I started to scream and crawl backwards out of the bed onto the floor. I don't know what exactly I thought was happening, that I was going to be killed or that I was seeing a ghost. But after a while, as if I was experiencing sleep paralysis or hallucinations, the apparition of the boy in the corner disappeared. I gave myself some time to breathe and calm down, and convinced myself I was seeing things. And just like the boy disappearing, the smoke alarm turned off a minute later. My heart was racing for the next 10 minutes as I sat up in the bed on my phone trying to contact my friends. They got back around 4, and I decided not to tell them for the sake of not sounding like a drunk fool. I did more research the next day about the hotel and supernatural sightings, and I was even more disturbed when I read that the other people had witnessed and hearing a boy coughing on the 17th and 18th floors. Needless to say, I didn't want to stay there anymore. Thank God it was only a 3-night trip.